Hello students, in the last video we discussed about the electromagnetic induction. It is a process by which there is a change in the magnetic field in a coil which produces the electric current in the another coil. We have seen that in the last video the one solenoid coil and the another coil, both the coils are kept near each other. The solenoid coil is connected to the battery. Now when the electric current is passed in the solenoid coil, around it magnetic field is produced. When we move the another coil around the, we can say, solenoid coil, then the another coil also we can say that the current induces in the another coil. So this we discussed in the last video. Then before that we have seen the Fleming's left hand rule, and again couple of videos back we have seen about the right hand thumb rule. So today we are going to discuss about the Fleming's right hand rule. Now how this Fleming's right hand rule and the Fleming's left hand rule, what type of the difference is there, after observing the, we can say, both the statement or both the videos, you find out. Now before starting the statement, one thing you have to see, remember about the last video. In the last video we said that when the coil is moved against the magnet or magnet is moved against the conductor, then a current is induces in the conductor. Then when we get the maximum induced current, to get the maximum induced current, then the magnetic field, direction of magnetic field and the direction of motion of conductor must be perpendicular to each other. It means when the direction of motion of conductor and the direction of the magnetic field, if they are perpendicular to each other, then we get maximum induced current. Now let us see the statement for Fleming's right hand rule. So just observe the figure, or you can see from the textbook. In that there is a right hand, we have to stretch the thumb, index finger and middle finger of right hand in such a way that all these three, thumb, index and middle finger, mutually perpendicular to each other. After stretching the, we can say, this right hand thumb and then we can say index finger and middle finger, which is mutually perpendicular to each other, then the thumb indicates the direction of motion of conductor, the index finger shows the direction of the magnetic field, and then the middle finger shows the direction of induced current. So after studying this Fleming's right hand rule, let us know something more about the Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday was experimental scientist. He was not formally educated. Teenager Michael started working in a bookbinding shop. While reading books, there he got interested in science. Then Sir Humphrey Davy appointed him as a laboratory assistant in the Royal Institute, London. There he discovered the laws of electromagnetic induction and the laws of electrolysis. Several universities offered him honorary degrees, but Faraday refused to accept such degrees, such honor. Such a great scientist he was. Let us see now the Faraday's laws of induction. So, whenever the number of magnetic lines of force passing through the coil changes, the current is induced in the coil. Means whenever the, we can say that the magnet is move around the coil or coil is move around the magnet, then magnetic lines of force are there, that are, we can say that the changes, and because of that the current is induced in the coil. This it is known as Faraday's law of induction, and the current produced in the coil is called induced current. Now let us start the AC current and DC current. So far we have learned about non-oscillating current flowing in one direction in a circuit from cell to cell. Such a current is called direct current. It means suppose you have taken one battery cell and it is connected to the one bulb. Then here we can say that from the battery the current is passed and bulb starts glowing. The current that we get from this from this battery, it is a direct current. Here in this direct current there is, we can say, positive and negative poles are there that cannot be changed. So here the direct current is produced. In alternating current there is a change in magnitude and direction. It means the positive can becomes negative, negative can becomes positive frequently. So that is the, we can say that that current is there, it is a alternating current. So here magnitude also changes. Sometimes we get 220 volts, sometimes we get 200 volts, sometimes more than that. So like this, here magnitude changes as well as direction changes. It is a oscillating current, so it is called as a alternating current. The direct current, it cannot be changed. It is non-oscillatory one. Its magnitude remains, we can say, constant. But alternating current is there, it is oscillatory one. And if we see the graph of the, we can say, the alternating current, it is maximum, then it increases to maximum, then reduces to zero, again increases to maximum in other direction, and again reduces to zero. The oscillation of alternating current occurs in a sinusoidal manner with time. Means as the time passes, we can see that there is a change in the magnitude of the, we can say, current. Not only magnitude, the magnitude and direction are both changes, we can say, as the time passes. So it is shown with the, we can say, symbol like a sleeping S. Direct current flows in one direction, but alternating current flows in periodic manner in one cycle in forward and reverse direction. So in India, the power stations generating electricity, that electric current, that is electricity, is the AC current, and one cycle changes in 1 upon 50th second. It means the frequency of AC is 50 Hertz. Means the cycle that is shown on the, we can say that on the graph, AC graph. So that graph, that cycles, we can say that produces 50 cycles produces in 1 second. So it is called as a 50 Hertz. When electric power is transmitted over a long distance, it is beneficial to have AC form, as it results into minimum power loss during transmission. Means to carry the, we can say that the electricity to long distance, the AC current is preferred. Here when we transfer this AC current, minimum loss of power is observed. So today we have discussed about the Fleming's right hand rule and AC and DC current. So students, go through the video again and write the answers of the given questions on the screen. Okay, thank you.